What's up, everybody? So, today I'm going to break down this space exploration cue that I wrote. It's called Cassiopeia's Call. So, you guys know how we do it. We'll take a listen to it and then we'll talk about it on the flip. So, let's check it out. All right, so there it is, Cassiopeia's Call. Um, and as I said, sort of a space kind of exploration type of cue. So I guess just to start things off, so the cue is based around the C Phrygian mode, and if you know the mode or if you don't, so C Phrygian mode is pretty much a mode where half steps fall between scale degrees 1 and 2 and 5 and 6. So that particular mode would be. So that is the C Phrygian mode, and it's kind of based on that. The tempo is around 63 BPM. And it just quickly, if you're aware of the myth or the story of Cassiopeia, basically she's a mother of Andromeda. And I guess she pissed off Poseidon because she was talking about, I guess, how beautiful her daughter was, and even herself as compared to like the sea nymphs or something like that. And Poseidon got pissed off, and her punishment was that he put her in the sky, and of course she became a constellation. So, with Cassiopeia being a female, of course you hear the female voice. I wanted to identify her with a female voice and kind of identify her with a simple four note motif. But before we get into that, let's kind of just talk about, I guess, how we set everything up in the queue before the theme even comes in. So we kind of set everything up with some pulses, some drones, and some glitches, basically. And we have a few things going on. So we have like this, we'll just jump right here. So we have this Halion synth, and then we add this from the Pool Project, Oliver Patrice Reeder. We have this drone sound that we utilize as well. And then, of course, we start things off also with this Retrolog synth, this pulsy sound, which this is a Q-based synth. It's pretty cool. It's a Retrolog synth, and you kind of see the pattern that I got going there. So just that's kind of where we're at. And then I actually also recorded some audio from this baby right here, some Mo FX8 Yamaha. And just for my sub bass, I'm starting a little further back so it doesn't pop in. But just for some low, some low sub bass, if you will, just to kind of ride underneath everything. So if we play all that together, and then of course we bring everything in with a riser, or with a swell, a simple swell, just to kind of onboard the cue. So here we go. So the whole idea is trying to set up this, kind of space, atmosphere, the unknown, the unknown. We don't really know, what's out there. So it's just trying to set up that kind of uneasy and unknown vibe. In terms of the melody, as you heard, so I'm just using, as I said, a simple four note motif, scale degrees 1, 2, 6, and 5. So, and it's really supposed to be a call. So, sort of like Cassiopeia is calling out to someone, or trying to draw them in. And basically, what I'm using a sort of a layered approach for my melody. So the main melody is, I am using Vocalese 2, and I'm using the dynamic and the artist is Sung Yi, and her voice is just absolutely beautiful. So if we just play that. I mean, that sounds great. So a lot of what you're hearing in terms of effects, the long reverb and delay, etc., are coming internally using the Cathedral 2 reverb. You see the pre-delay, pretty nice size there, and then you see the mix, and then some delay um, as well. And then outside of that, I try to actually treat it, just like I would a vocal in a recording setting, if you will. So outside of, high passing it and then dipping out a little of the low mids, scooping out, almost about how much? 3 dB in the low mids. I also use this CLA 76 compressor. And for vocals, man, the CLA 76 is awesome. So I do like to use it on vocals if I'm doing something like that. And I use the Bluey, and pretty much I have it set to the female vocal. So again, let's play it, and then I'm gonna bypass it. right? And then if I bypass it, hear the difference? I mean, so basically you're getting just much more presence, and then you're getting the color of the compressor as well, which sounds great. So and of course that really helps it cut through the mix as well. So just a really, really, great compressor there. And then I'm using another uh, Vocalese 2 um, vocal to kind of play off of that. And of course, Sung Yi again as the artist, but I'm using dynamic ooze. But I have these processed a lot more differently. So they answer. So it's sort of that distant, kind of far off, and it's kind of glitchy, etc. And pretty much what I'm doing here to get that effect. So we still got the reverb on, we still got some delay on, but really where everything kind of changes is what I do here in this effects section here, which is the triggered effects page. So what I do is I engage the distortion and the lo-fi, right? So if we bypass, and then you can add, drive, etc. But if we bypass the lo-fi distortion, we get. So it sounds totally different, right? So the distortion gives us pretty much that sort of glitchiness, if you will, of space that you kind of want, a little glitchy. And yeah, and then what helps us get the additional glitch is I just on the motion page of the plugin, what I do is I do a very, very random volume pattern, and then that helps us get that real kind of glitchy sound as opposed to a real smooth vocal. So and then let's see if I'm doing anything different in terms of how I'm treating this. So yeah, so as you can see here, I have it EQ'd more differently. Of course, high pass and low pass. But you see, I'm scooping out pretty aggressively, scooping out some high mids, and scooping out some low mids pretty aggressively as well. Just because we want to have a delineation in the sound. It's the same singer, but we want it obviously to sound different. And then the other thing that I'm doing to help is kind of scooping out these frequencies here seemed that were a little problematic, so I'm using a dynamic EQ, and then those particular frequency ranges just getting helping to tame those a little bit. So you see about 2.5, 3 dB of taming going on for that particular frequency. Somewhere around 600, and then of course here as well. Just getting a little gain reduction, but just in the particular frequency, as opposed to getting gain reduction across the entire spectrum. And so that's it for that particular sound. And then I have one more sound that I'm layering in with the main vocal, just to give it sort of a yin and yang. So you have this beautiful voice just calling out. So sort of you have the beauty of space, and then you have this really distorted voice that I think kind of speaks to the danger of space as well. So it's sort of the beauty and the danger kind of calling out at the same time. So this is the Halion that I'm using. Of course, it's a Cubase plugin, and it's the New Age Choir, right? So if I play it the way, if I play it the way that I have it with the processing on it, So we get that again, that sound, that danger, just a different kind of feel to the vocal. So basically, what we're doing here, I mean, a little high pass. We have a reverb send, the Valhalla. I'm using a Valhalla, and then I have some distortion on it, and it's just a Cubase plugin that I'm using, just Cubase distortion plugin. So you heard with it. So again, and then if I take that off, so totally different. And as you guys see here, this is just maybe if you use Cubase and you don't know this. So you see how this says got your sinus lead. So I obviously had another sound here before I changed the sound. So if you want this to match this, you pretty much just double click on that, hit shift and enter. So you double click on your sound over here, hit shift and enter, and now it matches up. Just in case you didn't know that, so what you can do there. So yeah. So now if we play all three of those together, this is what we have. And that is pretty much our melody that we have there, and then we have some other elements that are really more so just for color and things of that nature. So we have this and it kind of comes in maybe as the melodic, the section where the melody comes in or the theme continues to development, we try to build, still have some layers that come in to create a little movement, some forward momentum, and some more interest. So the first thing um, that we do is we just introduce some high tremolo strings, just a high trim strings. So that gives you that whole spacey kind of vibe, nothing real, deep, but just to kind of give that open, floaty kind of effect there. And we're just using nothing Cinematic Studio strings, tremolo, but I'm just using violins and violas, so I have the cellos and the basses cut off there. And let's see, yeah, nothing else, just some high passing and low passing, so nothing pretty much going on there. And then we also introduced something called Talking Whales. Um, and this is just a Spitfire Labs patch. And it's the Granular Whale Song Labs, and then it's the Talking Whales patch. And it's a pretty cool and different sound. So, we have that. Um, and then we also introduce a loop. Just using a damaged loop. That's it. See, I don't think so. It's just damage two, I should say, and yeah, nothing really going on in terms of the processing there. And I do want to show you this Oliver Weeder, just kind of get inside that a little bit because it's a pretty cool. So this Oliver Weeder is a meditation trio chant, but pretty cool sound there. So yeah, it's really cool. So the pool project is nice, and it's got some really cool drones, um, etc. in it. So I believe that is pretty much everything, except we also, when we bring in the trims, we bring in this xylophone. And it's just got this little pattern that's playing. So obviously you see what's hitting there. So I mean, in terms of what we're doing, but you hear how that delay is still ringing on, and I just cannot express to you enough how much like the use of delay, things that affect are really effective in creating interest in your cue. So in this particular delay, and of course you see I'm using it as a send, but I have the waves, H delay. Yeah, I know waves. I know. I owned this a long time ago. Thank goodness. So we're not dealing with all that drama. But and I'm just using a dotted eighth note, and I got my feedback at about 60, and that's it. 100% wet. But it just creates, I believe, so much interest, to the ears, just by doing something like that, just adding a little delay. So if we listen to when they come in, so now check, I'll play a measure before, but just check out the interest that's just kind of created, in your ears just by the use of delay and things of that nature. So let's listen. So yeah, so you hear the interest, which is really cool, and then pretty much what we do is we kind of, we've been laying on that C for a pretty good while, and then of course we're in C Phrygian, so going to that A flat is just a natural scale degree there. So we move to the A flat here just to create a little harmonic interest, and the melody switches up just a little bit, but then a couple of bars of A flat, and then we're right back to the C. A nice edit point. So now it in this section becomes a little more floaty, a little more open. So Cassiopeia has kind of made the call. And now, so this to me just now you're in space. And it's floaty and oh my goodness, kind of, maybe it's more so kind of the beauty of things. That's the kind of experience, but it's real, like airy and open. And I use some very interesting instruments. I don't know why, but these instruments just kind of appealed to me in this particular section. So here, the first thing I do is I introduce a bass flute. And so now the bass flute is carrying a melody. Man, and I just think it's just a beautiful sounding instrument. So we have the bass flute. We also introduced some frontales as well, right? So just introduce some frontales. We have the xylophone going on as well. Now the other thing that we introduce is a harp. And then again, I want to show you again the use of delay. So the harp is just this is the BBC harp. And look, I'm just using sustain, but looking at how much memory it uses, 1.24 gigs. It's just the man, I love them, but man, they eat up some RAM. So, but yeah, but it's the BBC harp, which is a beautiful sounding instrument. And then again, the use of delay. So we have some delay on it. As you see, now we're using the half note delay here. And let me get that up for you. So half note delay, and again, I'm using H delay here. It's half note delay. My feedback's a little lower. I think yes at 40, and then I'm high passing and low passing because I didn't want the full sound of the harp coming through in the delay. Here, my output's a little higher as well. And then you can see how I have it EQ'd. But let's play just that harp. So you hear how that delay just has the harp kind of answer itself. And then the other thing that I'm using is this Renaissance. I don't know, we're like really using the Waves plugins today, but this Renaissance AXX compressor, which is really, really cool. And I actually found out about this. I was watching a Alan Meyerson video where he was mixing Wonder Woman or something, and he was using this particular compressor to help the short strings pop out, which it's typically always on my short string bus. But man, it's just a great compressor. It really kind of helps, helps that harp punch through, and I'll show you the difference. Okay, we bypass. So you see the difference? Yeah, it just really helps it pop through. So yeah, so something, definitely a plugin I'd recommend if you already own it and it's in, you might have forgot that you have it. Definitely pull it out and dust it off. It's pretty nice there. So, yeah, so we have, again, so bass, flute, and then the other thing we introduced the piano, and real simple, just and it's the Midnight Grand, but how it has that little glitch to it, right? And of course, I'm using a delay again and some reverb, right? And then the last thing that I introduced on the second half of the melody is some Wren pipes. Yeah, let's play those. And I know, like space, really, some Wren pipes. I don't know, but they just seem to work. So I used them. And I think that's the thing. If something works for you, use it. It doesn't have to, necessarily, make sense. I mean, you like Renaissance pipes for space. It doesn't seem like they would be used in that particular deal, but with the bass flute and with everything else, I just like them. So I like them. I like the way they sounded. I like what they brought. So I used them. So yeah, don't be afraid or get put into a box just because a sound, you think a sound is for something particular. Like, okay, if I'm not writing, some piece, set, back in the Renaissance period or something, I can't use the Renaissance pipes. Yeah. So, so if we have the bass flute and the Renaissance pipes kind of playing together, listen to this beautiful texture. So I like it, and so I used it. So now the only other thing that happens is I introduce Just a little more drum movement, not a lot, but just a little more. So we add, so pretty much just, so the loop would still be going on, but just those little low drums, just to add a little something. So now let's listen to, now that we kind of broke it down, listen to how all those elements play together. The only other thing I didn't show you, and I'll show you that very quickly, is I have this other sound, and it's more textural. Just textural, just some texture that I add there, and that's the Podolsky is, and the sound is called HS Waver, and it's just some texture. So now let's play all those elements together now in the bridge. Again, the whole idea is to create this floaty, kind of open feel of just kind of being in space and really kind of seeing the beauty of it, you know? Like everything is beautiful, it's enticing, and we just kind of increase that, a little more. So yeah, so that's the whole vibe, and then you hear that low voice thing that's going on. That's still the Oliver Patrice Weir drone from the Pool Project. Love that. It's just so, I don't know. That's, I think, a really cool sound, and to me, it kind of gives the vibe like, if yeah, sort of like interplay, if you will, between, say, like Cassiopeia and Poseidon. If you will, you got the female voice kind of saying whatever, and then you have like this male, just drony kind of thing going on. So anyway, that's my thinking on it. Anyway, it might be a little weird, but that's the way my brain works. So yeah, we have that, and then that's pretty much it. And then, so what happens is we come out of the bridge, and again, I told you, in my mind, there's the beauty of space, but there's the danger of space as well. So we now, out of the bridge, we come into a big drop, and then move into the theme again. But now, for me, we have the beauty of the melody kind of riding with this nastiness. We introduce, for the first time, some very low brass. The drums get a little more active as well. We get a timpani in there, etc. So let's kind of get into the final section. So, just a lot going on here in terms of building intensity. So, obviously, the first thing that we do, that creates that element, as I said, of maybe danger. Everything is not totally cool. Definitely, you got to be careful. Is the low brass. So I have just a monster low brass. That's monster. That is monster. That is nasty. That is, man. So that's just the Monsterlo brass is not set any particular way. It's just a full mix, and I think it just a little reverb on it, and I can't show it to you there. because I actually have it set up as a MIDI out. So, but I just got a little reverb on it, and then I'm also utilizing Pandora with it. So, as I said, I mean that's really nasty. And then the um, the drums kind of pick up. Right, and then of course the taikos as well. So just to create, so that's pretty much the underbelly of creating the tension or the dynamic of danger, along with adding in some whoosh hits. Can't go wrong with some whoosh hits in terms of building intensity and drama. So just helping build that drama. Right. So all that, and then so how we keep though the pacing of the cue moving is with our harp. So with our crotales, so all this moving in crotales, I'm sorry, the xylophone, and again, so you go here because we got the xylophone and the harp doing the same thing. So what we did when we got here, we have the xylophone now double the harp as well, and then we have the piano as well. But so all this is helping with motion, and then we that's not really. But so these things here. Let me get the drums out. All right. So these are the things that are helping kind of drive us along. So you have all this activity going on that's helping to propel the cue forward, of course, along with the, those movements of the drums, ta 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 ta, So all that keeps the momentum moving, and it doesn't have to be super loud or anything like that. But that continues to give you some movement and continues to push the cue forward as we continue to build intensity in the cue. And then of course we still have our vocals, but now they're kind of, they were stating the theme, excuse me, they were stating this theme on the front end, but now it's almost like they're answering. So there's danger, but then, she's still calling out at the same time. So see how it's the danger hits and then the da 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 comes out, or the da 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 comes after that. So now the melody is sort of answering. So here. First time we hit that F minor, just to give it a little more tension, coming from that A flat before we get to the C. And then that's pretty much it in terms of building that intensity out. And then of course we just have our same melodic pieces, kind of carrying things along from that standpoint. Except now choir is doing something a little different now. So now they're there. And since I pulled the choir off of the melody, you see what I did is now the piano is helping with the melody. So when we get to here, so now the piano just helps to pick up the melody. And pretty much, I mean, then, so like I said, we come off of that F minor, and I'll play it to the end. I mean, just a big, a big close on it. And so, of course, the last thing that you hear is Cassiopeia's call. Da 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 da. Is the last thing you hear, and then the whoosh. I don't know, kind of gives you like that. I don't know, Star Trekky thing or something, like a ship is, flying off really fast, or something. And the only other thing that we have that really helps us build that intensity is just a simple riser. Um, just a long riser that just builds and continues to build, over a number of bars, and you will be amazed at how something like this just helps us build intensity, all the way, to that final chord. So definitely, the use of risers to help us, build intensity, etc., is pretty important. So again, Cassiopeia's call, different kind of cue. For me, I haven't done a lot of these, but it was a lot of fun to do. And I think the most interesting thing about doing this was utilizing some sounds that I typically don't ordinarily use. The bass flute, the Renaissance pipes, some of the synth elements, the Oliver Patrice Weeder drones and things of that nature. Just some really, really cool and interesting things to build, I think, a really nice sound palette. So hopefully, as I always say, I hope you enjoyed the cue. I hope there was something in here that helped you as well. And I encourage you, hey, keep writing. This cue has found a home, which is awesome. So, I'm excited about that as well. So yeah, hopefully I can encourage you, man. Just keep writing. Your music will find a home. Just keep at it. Keep honing your craft. Keep working at it, and things will definitely work out for you. So as I said, I think in my very first video some months ago now, I hope that we're on this journey together. I hope that I can encourage you and you can encourage me. So hey, please drop a like, drop something in the comment section, or whatever. And hopefully, if you have not, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel as well. And I'll be kicking out more content like this. As always, thank you so much for taking your time out to watch the video. And until next time, peace.